Jeannette Smith Wesolowski is with me today, and we're going to have a beautiful discussion. Welcome, Jeannette.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to play a song that I consider my theme song. It's called Even If the Sky is Falling Down. So listen to the lyrics of the song and see if it resonates with you as well. And then please help us share this out. Let's get this going far and wide so people can come in and talk about gratitude.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Oh my gosh, I love that song
I
so much.
love that. It's so pretty and uplifting.
Oh, yes,
Very nice.
exactly. And it just, to me, is the message of we have a choice. We have a
Yeah.
choice in how
Hmm.
we respond and how we react to anything that's going on in our lives.
In every
And
single
yeah,
moment. Yeah.
every moment, yeah. Even if that sky looks kind of gray and daunting, we don't have to go into that energy. We can keep our light lit. And honestly, that's the best time for us to shine, isn't it, Jeanette?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about the picture that you're going to put up a little later because I've got all these things going through my head while we're doing that. But yeah, in every moment we can start anew. We can just choose one path or another. And I always try to go the highest route. It's not easy
Oh,
sometimes, so it can be hard at times.
yeah.
But yeah, that was really beautiful.
Yeah, when I came across that song, it's like I said to you, I feel like the angels gave that to me.
Yeah.
And because as soon as I heard it, the very first time I heard it, and I listened to those lyrics, I'm like, oh, that's me. You know, it's like I don't always know where that road is going. I'm
Yeah.
going on faith and trust right now, and just trusting that what I'm hearing is what the angels are sharing for me to do. And
Exactly.
every time I listen, it's a blessing.
It
So I
is.
think that's a real lesson for me in trust for this lifetime.
Especially with what you're doing right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
going around to the different areas and you're grounding in energy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing land blessings. So it's creating a grid, a vortex of energy connecting one place to another as I go
Wow.
through the country. I started out in South Florida on September the 11th last year, and I've been at it for 7 months now, and I've come all the way across the country. I've come over 11,000 miles in my angel mobile.
What a beautiful experience. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it really is. It's such a blessing. I have to pinch myself sometimes and say, is this real? Am I going to wake up and I'm still in my bed in Florida?
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember when you were getting ready to leave
Hmm.
last summer, preparing for it and coming on, and you were talking about it a lot on Morning Cup of Joy.
Yes.
And yeah, I was so excited for you. Have you had some, and you've probably maybe talked about this on the show before, but have you had a lot of extraordinary like energetic type of experiences that have happened? I'm
Yes.
sure there's got to be a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yes, absolutely. There have been those land blessings that as I was channeling the message from the angels for that particular area, I would just start crying. It's like the
Oh,
energy was so profound. And I felt like there was a lot of clearing that was done in those cases when I wasn't even there anymore. I was just like gone somewhere, and the whole energy was so uplifting. But I have to tell you, when I went into Shasta, Mount Shasta, I could see the energy there. I could see the layers and all of this vortex of energy. And I did quite a few lives while I was there. And in one of the lives, I was rewatching it and I thought, what the heck is that? I don't remember seeing that. And it was just like this wave of energy that was going on behind me. And in some places, there was a lot of color behind me, different, almost like a rainbow of color that was right around me as I was standing there doing the live. It was amazing.
wow. I'll have to go back and check that out.
Yeah. So some of the experiences have been that extreme high energy. And I know it was because of what the clearing that was being
Oh,
done there in the land and how
yeah.
powerful it was going down into the center of Mother Gaia to connect with all of the other vortexes.
And
So that
going
was
through
one.
you as well, right? And
Yes.
you've got to feel the vibration has got to be insane.
Yeah. It really is insane. And I go back to that one at Shasta. We had quite a few people at that one. There were people that were interested in how it was done and what was being done. And so as I was standing there and the energy was flowing through me, after I placed the stones in and we covered them up and we turned the live feed from the camera, I felt like I was going to faint. That was how much energy had gone
Wow.
through me. And I looked at the people that were there and I said, I just have to sit down.
Oh, I
and there
bet.
and we were out in the wild, so there was no chair or any place to sit. So I just found a rock and I just sat there. And people
Yeah.
around me were giving me healing, energy healing to get my energy to come back up because it was totally, I mean, it just went right into the ground with those stones. Everything
Wow.
that was in me just went into that earth right there in that spot. But it was so beautiful. It was such a
Yeah.
beautiful experience. And I have since connected back in with it and just felt what it was like being on that mountain.
Yeah.
We couldn't go high up on the mountain because there was so much snow that was still packed in,
Hmm.
and access roads were just snowed over. So we couldn't even go very far. But just being at the foothill of Mount Shasta was that powerful. I can't
I've
imagine
heard
going up.
that. Oh my goodness, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I will do that someday. And I've heard the same
yeah,
thing about Sedona. Just being in
yeah.
that energy, it's almost hard to, I guess until you get used to it, it's almost hard
Mhm.
to focus.
Yeah. Well, there's people that have our residents there
I
in
know.
Mount Shasta and the
Yeah.
surrounding areas. And they say it takes them sometimes years to
Okay.
adjust to that
Wow.
energy because it is that powerful. It
Yeah.
really is. And next year in April, we're going to do a retreat there. There's a little town called McCloud that's right outside of Shasta. You can see the mountain. I mean, any area that you're in there, you're going to see that mountain.
Yeah.
I saw it from like 80 miles away on the interstate.
Wow.
But we're going to do a retreat there next April.
Oh, how
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So that's going to
Oh,
be
let me know about that
amazing.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. You can put it on your calendar, and we're definitely
Okay.
going to do some deep diving and take a trip up onto the mountain. I'm thinking the end of April, the snow should have been melted enough that we can travel some of those roads and go further up into the mountain.
Oh, wow. I bet you'll
Yeah.
have a lot of people wanting to sign up for that one.
I hope so. We're going to have to limit it for the venue that we're in, but there are other hotels that people can stay in if they want to come in just for the conference.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
The only time I've really ever experienced that very, very strong energy when I got really close to it, it's in Central Park, and I think it's called the Isis Needle or something like. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I'll look it up again and put it in the comments. I could not believe how intense the energy was when we went up to it. I met up with some women who we had never met in person, but you know how things are with this community that we're in. And one of the gals who kind of planned it for us, she found that spot, and we were like, oh, yes, let's definitely go. So we all went and did light language and just stood there and basked in the energy. It was absolutely amazing. I have pictures of us being there. It was really cool.
I would love to know more because I will be coming back to New York. When I was there before, I only went to Long Island. I didn't go into the state itself, and I want to go upstate. That's where our Julie Kiss is, who is in our audience with us. And I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to meet her when I come back out that way.
Well,
Helen's with us too. Helen James is here with us. Grace Isis, who is also a New Yorker. And Hope from the UK is with us. And Tammy Fisk. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming in. I'm so excited for you all to get to meet Jeannette if you haven't met her already. Jeannette, you do meditations for us regularly at Enlightened World Network. And they're beautiful and amazing and powerful. When I saw you yesterday, I get the notifications. So I got the notice that you were live doing a meditation. I'm going, yes, I can't wait to listen to my Jeannette.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you were able to join us. Yeah, I'm actually right across the border from New York. I grew up on Long Island, and I live right by Hancock, New York, which is just below Binghamton. I don't know what area you're planning on going on, but please let me know when you're coming.
I'm just going to explore and go where the angels tell me to go. So I think they'll probably guide me right to your house.
There you go. Well, we have an extra bed for you.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, that's what's been so beautiful, Jeannette, as I travel across the country. People are just opening their homes and they're like, come here, come be with me. And it's been such an amazing adventure to get to meet some of these people live in person. And Julie is one. I didn't get to meet her when I went to New York before, so I definitely want to have that experience when I come back.
Oh, very good. So you'll have a couple places.
Yes. Yeah, because I never know when I go in somewhere how long I'm going to be there. They don't give me the agenda. It's like, this is where you're supposed to go, and then we'll tell you when to move on. But I'm feeling now that I've come to the end here in California. I'm winding down, and I'm feeling a bit of a sadness about that because it's been such a blissful experience. But I know where I'm going is Sedona, and wow, I can't wait to have that experience as well.
Have you been there before?
No, I've never been to Sedona.
Neither have I, and I'm so excited for you. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'll be there probably the end of April on into the 1st of May.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I am so excited right now about this journey because I just got word that I'm going to South Dakota. I have never had a desire to go to South Dakota or any place really north where the extreme cold is.
Right.
But I'm excited about this because I'm going to be there for 14 days. And it's a group of people coming together for the purpose of being together on the land to do ritual, to do ceremony. And I am just thrilled that I get to be a part of that. So
Oh,
that's
that's
going
so
to happen.
wonderful.
That's going to happen in June. And I can't wait for that experience.
Is it going to be like shamanic? Is it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, it's
okay.
indigenous people, I think from all different kinds of tribes that will come together. And I can't wait to be right in the middle of all of that. And I
Oh
think I'll just
gosh.
be in my bliss when I do.
Yes. That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, you got me inspired. One of these
yeah,
days, I would love to be
yeah,
able to do that. Just travel around the country. That would
yeah,
be amazing.
yeah. Jeanette, I had no idea that it was going to be like this. When
Mm,
I knew I was going to be doing something. You know what it's like when you get that nudge and you're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I'm feeling that. I need to explore what that is that I'm being told." And then when they told me to go, I thought, okay, I'll just like go a few places and meet some people. And it was this intense, prolonged journey. And people ask, well, when are you going to be done? I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't have an expiration date.
Yeah, you may be doing this for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm
Yeah,
seriously thinking that. Yeah,
yeah. That's amazing. What a
it's
blessing.
beautiful. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So enough about me and the journey. Let's talk about you.
Oh, okay.
You've just come from a visit with your grandchildren. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you that you got to do that. So
It
tell
was
us
it.
about that.
It was really nice. Unfortunately, my grandson was with his. He had a quarantine with his dad for 2 weeks because he was exposed, and so I didn't really get to see him. I did get to see my granddaughter and spend lots of time spoiling her, and it was wonderful. And I also had the meditation a day yesterday, and was able to get that in. And it was actually kind of nice to be able to do that in the middle of
Yeah.
all the visiting. And my son and my daughter-in-law, my daughter-in-law's mom helps him out a lot with the baby, so she was there, and it was just really nice just to be able to relax and spend time.
Yeah.
Um, and then I've been out because I had hand surgery. I'm going to be going back to work at the beginning of May, so I was actually able to make a couple of trips over the last couple of months. So it's been
Yeah.
really nice.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. So your children, the parents of your grandchildren, do they understand about spirituality and what you do?
Yes, actually, my daughter-in-law is Buddhist,
Okay.
and my son, he's on my group. He's always kind of following along with the things that I'm doing. My other son lives in North Carolina, and I think I think he has an idea because I'm always saying, well, this is how the universe works. This, and then I'll say something,
Right.
and he
Yeah.
follows along. He's good. They're both really good boys. And then my stepdaughter, um, I don't know that she really follows along or understands, but she is just such a light in this world. She's just
Yeah.
such a good person, and I love her so much. We really are blessed, my husband and I. Our children are just wonderful, and we really do have a good life. And we both of them thank God every day because we're very fortunate that they're all in a good place. You
Yes.
know, so that's wonderful. And then I do a circle every Tuesday with Reba Linker and A to Z Healing Space.
Mhm.
And we just had one a week ago. And I have to tell you, like you, I had to, as soon as we were done, I had to go right to bed. I had but I laid there and my whole body was lit, just completely just vibrating. So I just like kind of basked in that energy, just laid there until I fell asleep. And that was it.
Yeah.
There's so much coming at us right now. You know, the energies are extremely strong.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
Tell us about your circle. What goes on in the circle?
it's called the Soul Communication Circle. And I honestly, every month, I never know until I'm guided. I've tried to plan. Like sometimes I'll say, oh, next month, what my plan is to do this. And then my guides have something completely different.
Right.
No, you're not doing that. And that's what
Yeah.
happened this past month. So I told them, I said, I'm not going to try to plan anymore. It doesn't work out that way. This last week, it was very interesting because I shared, you know, an experience that I had been through in like the weeks prior to that. And that's how I ended up being guided to do that. And in that sharing, it was a kind of allowed everybody else to kind of be in that energy. Like, you know, when we share, we allow everybody else to realize that they're not the only ones who are going through things. I mean, I'm human, you know, yes, I lead a circle.
Right.
Yes, I do sessions with people, but I'm human and I make mistakes. And I had, what was happening for me was I was having a really hard time keeping my energy up, my vibration, keeping it high. And, you know, like the song, like we were talking about in the beginning, and a lot of it had to do with my hand surgery. I have had a really difficult time, and I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And it was when I realized that I kind of went back to sleep. I was like, woe is me, what's going on? And I'm not one to play the victim, and I was playing the victim.
Right.
And as soon as I realized I was doing it, everything changed.
Yes.
And we had a plan for my hand, and we were able to figure out what was going on. And I had light at the end of the tunnel, and all was well. So this is what I had shared with all of them. And I think for me, like the most important thing for me is to keep my vibration up, to keep that light for other people as well as for myself. And seeing what I went through and being able to share that and say, hey, you know, it happens, you know, and then you just start from there and just start raising your vibration again. And we, you know, talked about different ways to do that as well.
Yeah.
So,
but it's the awareness. It's the awareness
exactly
that something is there. You know, how many times do we feel out of sorts? We don't even sometimes know what it is that's creating that energy. And we just kind of push it down. We're like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to keep plotting. But we have to become aware, I think, of the energy and say, okay, what's this all about? I call it being the observer. You just step away.
That's what I call it too.
Yeah. Hit that pause button and just step back and say, okay, what's going on here? You know, what is this?
Exactly.
And I don't go into why, because then I feel more like the victim, like you were saying.
Yes, I had the whole story.
Why.
I had the story. I attached a story to the whole thing, and that was one of the things that we talked about too. I said, I know I'm sharing this story, and that's why I was in the vibration I was in, because I was attached to that story.
Right.
You know, why is my hand not working right? Why am I having all this pain? Why can't I go back to work? You know, all of it was, and then all of a sudden I was like, what am I doing? You know,
that moment of clarity.
Yeah, I was like, oh, girl, you know. And as soon as I became aware, like I said, everything started to shift, and I knew that I had to do the work and start raising my vibration. And it's interesting because I've watched my human self go through that, but I've always been the observer of it. Not always, you know, in recent years.
Right.
And this time I wasn't. I was like completely asleep.
Yes.
So,
I
happened.
get it. It does happen. And it happens when something hits us, I think. I call it going through a fire. So when
Yeah.
there's a fire that pops up and oh my gosh, we're walking on those hot coals and it doesn't feel so good, those are the moments that it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this? That we can step away. And I really can resonate with what you're saying because the last really big fire that I went through was breast cancer. And when that happened, instead of going into why did I manifest this? Why did I have this come up? I went into what am I supposed to do with this? And that was the question I put forth to spirit and to the angels. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't understand what this is all about, but I want to understand. So I think having that clarity that comes in when we don't go into victimhood, but we go into, hey, this is coming up for me. What's it all about?
Yeah.
And just go into it with that attitude of, I'm not giving in to any pity, any self pity. I don't want pity. I just want clarity. I just want to understand. And that's our growth. That's when we have soul growth, is when we can do that and find that meaning behind every experience. Because we need
Absolutely.
every experience, we need all of
Absolutely.
it.
And that's exactly what I did. I was like, okay, what do I do with this now? Because it
Mhm.
was the same thing. I
Yeah.
was like, I manifested this. I'll take full responsibility for it. What do I do now?
Yeah.
And the guidance I got was to get out, go for a walk,
Mhm.
ground, touch some trees.
Right.
Let's start raising the vibration, be out in nature, and that was a major turnaround for me. And I
Yes.
felt so much better after that. And like I said, and then one thing led to another. And it's like, okay, we have the answers now. We know what we're doing. And
Absolutely. Isn't nature so healing?
oh, it is. Absolutely.
Mother Gaia gives us everything we need. I
Yeah.
say that every day. Everything that we need to survive in these human bodies is right there in nature.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I'm very fortunate to be right in the middle of it.
Mhm.
I'm like in the middle of nowhere. There's
Yeah.
dirt roads 2 miles in every direction. So
Beautiful.
it is nice. And so plenty of places to walk to. There's a lake. You can't see it from my cabin, but it's just right there. And, we know
Yeah.
most of the people that are on the lake, and we can go down anytime. My mom and my stepfather are renting a place for 4 months on the lake. So we'll be able to go down there every day. And it's just such a
Yeah.
blessing. It is. And, it's my husband's like sanctuary. He goes down there to fish almost every day when the weather, breaks, and that's his meditation, doing that.
Mhm. Right. Yeah,
And
that is very meditative.
it is. He loves being out in nature. It is. We're very blessed. But if I tell, in fact, one of the women at the circle asked a very good question, and I think this is a really good point. She said, she was she's living in a mobile home. And
Mhm.
she said, I have this, the steps are aluminum. The closest tree is way over there. There's water all over the place. I can't even get out. And she said, what am I supposed to do? I feel so disconnected. And I said, you can use your imagination. Just sit and visualize. You can even sit and look out the window at that tree and just connect with it. You don't have to be right next to it. You can visualize roots coming out of your feet and going right down into the ground, and
Mhm.
just ground yourself in.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that for a while, and she said, oh, that's a great idea. She felt so much better after that.
Oh,
So
good.
I like to bring that up to people. You don't have to, like, if you
Mhm.
live in the city, you can
Yeah.
visualize it.
Right.
Close your eyes. And if you can't visualize it, I was talking with Ruth, and she made the suggestion that people can actually find a picture on whatever
Yeah.
resonates with them on the internet, print it up, and just put it right in front of them.
Yeah.
And that could be their sweet spot that they go
Yes.
to.
Absolutely. I've always connected with the trees. I grew up in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains in Kentucky.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
Oh,
was
how
surrounded by,
nice.
yeah, I was surrounded by mountain energy, and we always
Yeah.
had we had trees of every kind. We had fruit trees, nut trees,
Hmm.
oaks. We had it all. And I've always connected with them. But then one day I had the audiobook of Power, what was it, The Power of the Now, Eckhart Tolle.
Power of Now. Yeah.
The Power of Now.
Oh, he
And
was a huge teacher for me.
oh my
Definitely. Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
I was sitting outside of my apartment by the pool, and there was a little palm tree right up, out from me, not very far, but I was reclined and listening to this book. And when he got to the part about communicating with the tree, that was the first time that I've really connected. I mean, I'd always felt the energy of them, but to really
Yeah.
go into that tree and listen to it, I did that while I was listening to his audiobook. He goes, just take that moment, just focus in on the tree, listen to what it's saying. Every
Yeah.
tree has a message. Every tree. I don't care what it is, how little it is, how big it is. They all have a message for us.
Yeah.
And once I did that, once I made that first connection, it's like every tree now, I'm like, hi, how are you? And really, really focused on exchange of energy with them.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just in the redwoods here in California.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, talk about messages and images that they would bring into me. And one tree just called me over. It was like, all right, come over here. And I kept just drifting that way. I kept being drawn to it. And so finally, I just went over to it. I touched it. I gave it a hug. And it needed that hug. It just needed that warmth,
Yeah.
because it was in a clearing area where there were picnic tables. So there were kids and dogs and people just constantly coming and going, but it wasn't being seen. It wasn't being acknowledged as
Right.
being there. It was just kind of part of the background for them. And so it called me over for me to acknowledge it. And that's what we did.
Oh.
We just had a little energy exchange. I gave it a hug. I told it I loved it and thanked it for being there. And what a beautiful experience. We can have
Yeah.
that no matter where we're at. We don't have to be in the redwood forest. We
Nope.
can be anywhere with any tree.
Anywhere. Absolutely. And that was the point I wanted to get across to her. And I had actually done a journey with the circle a few months ago, and we journeyed into the earth. In no, first we journeyed to the circle of trees
Mhm.
in the forest, and then we journeyed down into the earth. And oh my God,
Yeah.
it was incredible, absolutely incredible. And that's a lot of the women in the circle said they really do connect with the trees, and they feel the energy, and like you said, it's so healing to be able to connect, and they want to connect,
Oh,
and
yes.
they like you said, they
Yes.
want that acknowledgement.
Mhm. Yeah,
So yeah.
to be
Yep.
seen and just given that love back because that's what they're
Hmm.
giving to us.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was I'll never forget, this was about 2 years ago. I went out for a walk, and my vibration was just like through the roof, and I was just feeling quite blissful. It was like wonderful. And I started just like blessing everything. And there was little salamanders in the road, and I would just cut them, and I started seeing the energy going between my hand and the salamander, and then I would do it to the tree, and would go. I
mhm.
could see the energy going back and forth,
Yes.
and it's not. It's I've seen energy at other times as well, but this was amazing. It was just
Mhm.
a connection like I've never felt before.
Yeah,
So it was very profound for me. And
beautiful.
it's just something I do now when I go out in the walk, and just
Mhm.
connect. And like I said, it
Yeah.
really turned me around the other day. It brought my vibration
Yes.
right up.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah,
beautiful,
I love
healing.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. And I think that's a good segue into us discussing this picture that I found before
Oh
we did the
yes.
show today.
Mhm.
Thinking about gratitude and thinking about how we put our energy out into the world and what we can do to help raise the vibration of the world. I want to show this picture, and Jeanette and I are going to talk about each of the points that are on there. But those of you that are with us, thank you for being here, first of all. And I'd like for you to type in the comments, what are you grateful for today? This is Gratitude Happy Hour, and it's all focused on being that grateful energy, because what we put out into the universe, we get back. So putting out gratitude, even for the little things in life, just put that energy out there. Okay, so I'm getting a troll on here. Let me just go ahead and take care of that before we. This has been
Okay.
happening
It's
every
happening more and
time,
more. Yeah.
every day. Yeah. All right, so just block them. And for those of you that are here, thank you for being here. And please type in, what are you grateful for? Even it's like the smallest thing that you can think of. You know, every morning I start out my day with, thank you, God, for another day. Thank you that I'm able to open my eyes and see and have this experience. And then it just gets better from there. So, starting our day with gratitude is something that's very important to set that tone for the rest of the day. So, let's talk
Absolutely.
about this picture that I found, because I just loved it when I saw it. And I thought this will be a great discussion about life. It's called the 7 Rules of Life. And that first one is to smile. And I love that that's the first one, don't you, Jeanette?
I
Because
do. I do.
it doesn't cost you anything to smile.
Mm.
And, you know, these days when we're out in the world, our mouth is covered with masks for the most part when we're in with where other people are. But that smile is not just your lips.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in the eyes. That's exactly what I was thinking. And that's been a big thing that people have talked about, is having to smile with your eyes because your face is covered up. And I was thinking about it yesterday when I was out and about, actually smiling at people, and I'm like, I wonder if they know I'm smiling at them.
Oh, you can always tell.
Yeah.
You know, the eyes, they say it's the window to the soul,
Mm-hmm.
because when you look in somebody's eyes, if you really look in their eyes, you'll see if they're smiling, if they're sad, if they're angry, all that emotion, it's like it puts out from the eyes what's really there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that smile is important. And I have a very short story about that that I'd like to share, because sometimes we think, what does it matter? You know, and I've even said that in my life. What does it matter if I'm smiling, if I'm happy, if I'm grumpy? You know, what difference does it make? And then I was talking to a dear friend of mine, and she told me an experience that she had one day where she ran into someone that she had gone to school with. And this person remembered her very much, remembered her, even though it was years later. And he told her that there was one morning that they crossed paths at school. I believe they were in high school. And she smiled at him and said hello. And that was the day that he was contemplating suicide. He
Oh,
had thought, nobody
wow.
cares. There's not one person in this world that even knows I exist. What does it matter that I'm here anymore? And with her action of smiling at him and acknowledging him, it gave him the courage to go on in life. And he was thanking her years later, and she had no clue.
Wow.
She didn't know, you know, and that's what I'm saying. We don't know how we're going to affect people. We don't
Right.
know what they might be going through at that moment, that we look at them. And even if our mouth is covered up, we can look at them and we can smile, and or we can say a warm hello to somebody.
Absolutely. And I think our energy also will be felt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can feel each other's energy. Even people who aren't very intuitive can feel if you have a coldness
Yeah.
coming from you or if there's a warmth that's exuding, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So number 2, be kind. It is
Another good one.
powerful.
It is very powerful.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was growing up. My parents had separated, so my father had us on the weekends, and he would take us on all these adventures. He was a lot of fun. He still is. And back then, we he was living in Bayside, Queens, right, just right by Long Island, New York City. And he would take us sometimes over the bridge, and we'd go over to Connecticut or do something like that. And one time he took us over the bridge, and back then to go over, I think it was the Whitestone Bridge, and it was probably a quarter or 50 cents or something like that. So he would say, give the guy the money and say, here, this is for me and the guy behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then us kids would all turn around and we'd look out the window and watch him tell the guy. And it was just such a nice thing to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's only like 50 cents or whatever, but
Right.
and it made us happy because we just thought that was
Yes.
the coolest thing, you know. But
Mhm.
so it's like a ripple effect.
It is a ripple effect, most definitely. And I've been doing that a lot more lately when I'm on the road. If I stop for coffee and there's a line, I always pay for the person behind me if I can.
Oh,
I mean,
so
if their
nice.
bill's like $20, I think twice, but
Right.
to buy somebody a cup of coffee or a coffee in a Danish or whatever it might be, and just to let that person receive. We're giving somebody an opportunity to receive. And that's a beautiful thing. There's so many random acts of kindness that we can do. And it's in the giving that we get as well. We get that warmth, like you were saying. There's something about seeing that expression on that person's face, or just knowing, kind of, you don't even have to see them. You just know and feel that their energy was lifted because of that act of kindness.
Yeah, one time I went through a car wash, and I was actually traveling. I was going to be going down to Florida, and I was traveling down to Philadelphia. So I said, this car is a mess, so let's get it washed. So I went to the car wash and realized when I got to the end, when the people are drying your car and everything, all I had was 20s. And then I clearly heard a voice that said, give them a 20.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. Oh my God. The look on their faces when I gave, it was two young men. They were like, oh, God bless you. God bless you. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It was worth every penny. It's not something I would do on a regular basis, but I just felt so good.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It
made a difference to them. Yeah.
It really does. And that's not something that they normally would experience. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that they're going to remember that for a long, long time. And not just the money part, but remember the giving and the warmth that came. Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Number 3, don't give up. Oh my gosh. There's a saying, I believe it's in like the 12-step programs. It's don't quit 1 minute before the miracle. And that's what I think of when I hear these words, don't give up. It's like you don't know what that next moment is going to bring to you.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. Yeah, and there's always, and that was something I had to learn, because if I couldn't do it perfectly, I would just stop. That was it. I was giving up. And now I realize, of course now I've learned so much since then. And if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Try again. And then there's also those times when we're trying to do something that's not in alignment with our path.
Right.
So, and that, I don't consider that giving up. I see it as coming to more clarity about, why am I doing this? What's the purpose of me trying to achieve this in my life, or do something that I'm working so hard to get it done. I'm struggling upstream with it. And take a moment to step back and say, okay, am I supposed to let that go? Is that something I'm supposed to look at and keep persevering? Or, using your intuition, say, is it time to let that go? And see the purpose of it?
Yeah, because then it opens you up to other possibilities.
Right.
Yeah, that may be more aligned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I love this next one. Don't compare.
Oh, God,
everyone's on everyone's on a different journey. We certainly are. And it's when we go into the oneness that we all are one, it's easier to not compare, because we know that we're all, like Ram Dass says, walking each other home. We're all having this experience for our soul growth. So if we're comparing what somebody else is doing, we're not focused on how we're fitting into that oneness. We're more concerned about what other people are doing in their lane. And I always say, stay in your own lane.
Yes, definitely. Because we all have our own gifts. We all have our own things that we are really good at and are going to share with the world. I was on the comparison kick for a long time. It took me and that takes a lot of self-love too.
Mhm.
You know,
Yes,
to know that you are, nobody's above us and nobody's below us. We are
right.
all on the same playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we start putting people on pedestals too, we're comparing. You know,
Yeah.
we're judging and we're saying, oh, that person's higher than us. They know more than us, or they're
Yeah.
more spiritual, more. You know, that's a comparison thing. And just seeing everyone level, like you said, everyone is the same. And we all have access to the same spiritual gifts, the same
Yeah.
abilities, and it's how we do our path, how we grow from our experiences that leads us into opening up to those spiritual gifts or not. So
Absolutely.
yeah, there's no
Absolutely.
room for comparison at all.
No.
Okay, number 5, avoid negativity. Oh my goodness.
That's another tough one, especially with these times. It's been,
Yeah.
for some people, it has been really, really hard
Mhm.
to
It
see the light at
has.
the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, and just that kind of fits in with what I had gone through with,
Mhm.
those couple of weeks of woe is me.
Yeah.
And as soon as I turned it around, if I became aware, it started changing my vibration and changing the situation.
Yeah. I think this last year has worn many of us down.
Hmm.
You know, it almost feels like a science experiment. It's like,
I know.
how
I
long can
know.
these people stay in their little boxes before they break down the walls? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like I think it was Ruth and I were saying that like Ireland is still on lockdown.
Full
Yeah.
lockdown. Yeah.
Gosh, I just couldn't even
Yeah.
imagine what it's been
Yeah.
like.
Me either. I I know it's been tough. And the fear that has come in with this has been so pervasive.
It
But, you
has.
know, when we avoid the negativity of it and we don't go into the victimhood, that's what I've figured out from the very
Yeah.
beginning of it. It's like, no, I'm not a victim of this. You know, this is something that's happening for a reason. I don't know the whole picture, I don't know the whys. It's not for me to know. I just know that my part is to stay positive, to hold the light, and to hold the energy. And if I do that and I stay in my own lane and know what I'm all about, then I won't buy into the negative. I won't buy into the fear. So I think that's really
Exactly.
important.
It is really important. And and another point too is there's you know vaccine, no vaccine, mask, no mask. I won't go into all that, but the point I wanted to make was we just have to choose from our own hearts. We have to choose from our own sovereignty. When we pick a side, one side or the other, we further the divide. So when we pick from our own hearts, we're staying in our own lane. We can
Right.
do, and whatever you decide for you is fine, is okay. No judgment, no nothing. It's what's right for you.
Yes.
So
No
I think
judgment,
that
just love.
just love. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I always say stay in your heart. You know,
Yeah.
when we get out of our heart space, we're thinking with our ego and with our brain. And sometimes that takes us down a road where we run into the negativity and the division.
Yeah.
So if that's what's coming up, go back to your heart. Go
Yeah.
back to the only thing that's real is love. And if you're in fear, that's definitely not in love, and that's you're not in your heart when you're in that. So go back to the heart.
Yeah, that's my
Always.
Facebook group, Living from the Heart.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, the next one, make peace with your past. That's a good one.
Yes. Another tough one too at times.
It can certainly be because we get triggered by things from our past.
Hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what's happened with a lot of people with this pandemic and with the lockdown is being triggered by the times we were told no, and we were
Yeah.
told you can't do that. You know, you
Go to your
can't
room.
go to your room, you're in
Yeah.
timeout. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and that was one of the hardest things for me because making peace with my past, just because I still can't even believe that I did this, but I just thought I was this horrible person. I would lie awake at night saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have worn that. I shouldn't have done this. Shouldn't have done that." You know, and thinking I was just this terrible person, and I don't know why I did that, but that was something that I had to go on this journey of self-love.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what it's
And
all about.
yeah, yeah,
Loving yourself
and
and accepting yourself.
as we are, yeah,
Yeah,
and anything from the past, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's we make it sound easy. I mean, there's a lot of shadow work and a lot of different modalities for doing that. But when you do the work, it's so worth it.
It is so worth it.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, number 7, take care of your body and your mind, both. We
Yeah.
can't just focus on one or the other, or we're going to get way out of balance.
Yeah.
So it's the overall health of us
Yes.
that's
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. Taking that time for yourself, doing the self love.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Self-love, self-care,
yeah,
getting out in nature, letting that natural healing happen.
absolutely listening to your own intuition,
Mhm.
listening to your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this. When I came across this in my research about gratitude and, just living in the present, living in the now, and the very best way to experience the now, this one just really stuck out. I don't even know who made this. It's not my own creation, but
Yeah.
whoever it was, I'm very grateful to them and grateful that we have this means now in these days of we have access to everything with the internet. Whatever
We
we want to
do.
find, just Google it. It's there.
Yeah, it's amazing because I think it's when I think of all the people that I've met in the last probably 4 years, you know, through spiritual communities and groups and things like that, I'm totally amazed. And some of these people, I'm so close with them, and I've never
Yeah,
met them in person.
right.
You know, so it's just a wonderful thing. And Enlightened World Network is such a beautiful space for
Yes.
people, and now one with the world.
Hmm.
One with the earth.
Yeah.
One with the
One
earth.
with,
Yeah.
one with the earth. I love
Yeah.
it. I love the mission and the vision that Dr. Ruth
Mhm.
Anderson had when all of this was exposed and came to her to reach out and
Yeah.
be that platform, be that place that we
Mhm.
can all grow and expand in.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, I want to read some of the gratitudes. Uh,
Yay.
Grace Isis is with us, and she is in New York, where you are. She said, grateful for the energy and the time to walk.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yes, getting out there. It's springtime now, so you can get out without shivering so much,
Yeah.
right?
So, it was a beautiful day today. Yeah.
Yeah. Julie Kiss, also in New York, says, grateful for my family and friends. Beautiful, Julie.
Very
And
nice.
Tammy Fisk is in Virginia. She's grateful for good friends and for being alive.
Yes.
Me too. Robert Dosa is with us from Romania. And Robert says he's grateful for my physical body working in perfect condition and being adaptable to any environment.
I like
That's
that. Ooh,
that's a good
yeah.
point, Robert.
Yeah.
I've experienced that with the changes in environment for where I've gone across the country and gone into the cold and then the hot in the desert and then the kind of level temperature here in California. It's absolutely been amazing
Yeah.
that each point I was able to adapt. You just put on more layers if it's cold and don't wear any layers if it's hot. We just know what to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that
Absolutely.
as well. So Jeanette, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for being able to spend this time with you here. This has been
Oh,
absolutely
thank you.
beautiful. I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for this body. And something that I've been working on is actually being aware of my body, because
Mhm.
I feel like we go through life and sometimes we just don't think about our bodies at all. We
Yeah,
don't feel them, you know, and it's
right.
such a gift to be able to feel and sense and go through life with this body.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Jeannette, this has been amazing. Thank you for this time together today. And please tell people how to reach you. How can they get in touch with you? If there's anything you want to share, anything that's coming up, or your services, whatever you want to share, just let everybody know.
Well, I can be found on Facebook, Jeannette Smith Wesolowski. I have a group, Living from the Heart. I am also, my circle is through A to Z Healing Space with Reba Linker. And there's a website, A to Z healingspace.com. I do the soul communication the first Tuesday of every month. And I'm also available through A to Z Healing Space for one-on-one sessions.
Beautiful. Please connect with Jeannette. And Jeannette, you are one of the P's in our P pod in that angelic river family. I'm so happy that you are in there, and I see you pop on every so often to comment and share your love with us. So thank you for that, for being one of us. And Isabel just came on. Isabel says, I am grateful to allow myself to think out of the box.
Yes.
That is so important. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Julie, thank you. Julie Kiss said, wonderful show, ladies. Thank you, Julie.
Thank
and to
you.
all of you, everyone who joined in today, thank you so much for being here with us. It was beautiful spending time together and this wonderful discussion that we had. And remember some of those talking points that were brought out, the smile, how important it is to keep your positivity, no matter what the world looks like around you. It may be very chaotic, but you can stay in your own lane and smile at somebody, lift them up along with you. And it does make a difference. Thank you all for being here. And we're going to end the show with a namaste.
Namaste, y'all. I love that.
I love that. And I love all of you. And Jeannette, thank you. I love you so much. Big hug to you.
Thank you.
And I know you'll be back on here with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Morning Cup of Joy. We got to do that too.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. All right. So bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.